The safety of our officers is paramount. The safety of the public is key. And the key here is Sheriff McMahill will not violate the law to appease the Las Vegas Justice Court in letting out people that he deems to be dangerous.
America, a Las Vegas judge just threatened to hold an entire sheriff's department in contempt because Metro refused to release a man with 35 arrests back into the community. The judge set bail, Metro said no, and now this is heading to the Nevada Supreme Court.
Metro says Sanchez Lopez has a criminal history, including 35 arrests and visits to prison. After his most recent arrest earlier this year involving a stolen vehicle, Sanchez Lopez was back in Las Vegas Justice Court.
Visits to prison, that is plural, my friends.
Crime is down, the valley is becoming safer, and the future is bright.
That was the message from Metro Sheriff Kevin McMahill during his State of the Department address today.
One of the biggest achievements he highlighted was the drop in crime last year.
And the judge is trying to undo all of it with one bad bail decision. Let me show you exactly how this works. What is up, guys? Tyson DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Crime down 43% in 3 years, and the judge is trying to put a 30-time offender back on the streets. Let's get into it. Let me walk you through what's actually happening here, because it's probably one of the most infuriating things that I've seen in a while, and I've covered a lot of infuriating things. I do it for a living. Joshua Sanchez Lopez, shout out to my two name, last name individuals. 35 arrests, multiple prison visits. Most recent charge, stolen vehicle. Judge Eric Goodman of Las Vegas Justice Court sets bail, get this, for $25 grand. Says if Sanchez Lopez posts bond, he can walk on house arrest with an ankle monitor. Sure. Metro's response, they mailed the court a letter, not a suggestion, a letter saying Joshua, two name, last name guy, Joshua Sanchez Lopez poses an unreasonable risk and will not participate in their electronic monitoring program. Full stop, end of story.
We have to take a look at that and say, is this somebody who our electronic supervision program can monitor safely in the community? This is an issue of public safety.
Quote unquote, monitor safely, because ankle monitors don't work if the person wearing it doesn't really give a damn. Here's what people don't particularly understand about ankle monitors. They're a tracking device, not a force field. They don't prevent crime. We've seen a lot of crime happen with ankle monitors. They tell you where the crime is actually happening while it's probably already been done. And Metro looked at 35 arrests, prison visits, and a history of evading officers. That's the key one. And social media posts of him with a gun saying, got chased again. What a dummy. And decided this particular man isn't someone that you just hand a monitoring bracelet to and wish him good luck.
Failure for the sheriff and Metro to do so could result in sanctions for contempt. When Metro said no, the court put him on their own pretrial release program.
The judge threatened the sheriff's department for protecting the public. Let that sink in. The sentence should not even exist. The judge threatened contempt. Then when Metro said no mas, he released Sanchez Lopez through his own pretrial program. So now we have an elected sheriff saying this man is absolutely dangerous, and the elected judge saying that's not his problem. Two institutions of public safety, completely opposite spectrums and positions. And the person who gets hurt when this goes wrong, the next person Joshua Sanchez Lopez encounters. Now here's the context that makes this even more maddening. Sheriff McMahill just delivered a State of the Department address that should make Las Vegas residents genuinely proud of this situation. 3 years ago, he took over an office with a serious crime problem. And what did he do about it?
Violent crime is down just over 4%, and property crime just over 9%. Homicides are also down significantly, 43% since the sheriff took office 3 years ago. 2025 ended with 90 homicides. McMahill says that drop is thanks to officers' hard work.
This year we had Ramadan and Lent start on the same day, and we have people that are sitting around those holiday tables that would have never been there in years past because of the efforts of law enforcement in our community. And 90, still far too many, but we're going to continue that downward trend as we move forward.
He said 90 homicides, still far too many. That is a sheriff who holds himself accountable. Kudos to him. Notice how McMahill talks. He's not out here doing victory laps. He's saying 90 homicides represents families that were at a table last year who won't be at a table this year. That's a man who takes it personally and takes accountability. That's what it looks like when a law enforcement leader actually gives a crap.
We have a system that's set up so that people can get out of jail quickly. And sometimes there just needs to be a little bit more thought given to it because lives are on the line.
A little bit more thought. That is the most diplomatic way to say what Metro actually means. Lives on the line. They're trying to be diplomatic. What they're actually saying here is the bail system is broken. Judges are prioritizing legal theory over public safety. And the people paying the price are the law-abiding citizens in Las Vegas. McMahill built this crime reduction over 3 years of discipline and particular strategy. One bail decision on a 35-time offender can undo what that work is trying to protect. But wait, you guys already know this isn't an isolated problem. Let me show you what happens everywhere when judges decide repeat offenders deserve another shot. Ahmad Boja, 2021, he shoots up a Wawa gas station, gets arrested, goes to court, and instead of being convicted, he gets found not guilty by reason of insanity. He said that he was crazy. His defense and the state attorney's office together agreed to skip jury trial and let the judge decide solo. The same judge decides outpatient treatment is significant enough for him. No commitment to mental health facilities. Boja goes home to his parents.
Somebody needs to be asked, what did they base that stipulation on?
The statute on involuntary commitment after an insanity plea requires that the defendant be found manifestly dangerous to himself or others. The court said Boja didn't meet that criteria, so instead he lived at his parents' home and went to check-ins at a behavioral health care facility called Park Place.
4 years later, Boja walks next door to a rental house, shoots 3 tourists from Ohio and Michigan who came down for a car show. Robert Kraft, Douglas Kraft, James Pushin, 3 men dead because a judge agreed to outpatient treatment for a man who shot up a gas station. Now, Virginia, Abdul Jallo, you guys remember him. In the country, you guessed it, illegally. 2018, charged with forcible grape, charges dropped the same year, charged with the felony shooting into an occupied building, reduced to a misdemeanor, 30 days served. 2023, malicious wounding, those charges were dropped. Then aggravated malicious wounding, reduced, served less than a year.
It was truly something that everyone knew was going to happen eventually, and now it has. So there's no excuse coming from the Fairfax County Commonwealth's Attorney's Office that's good enough. But he's filled with them. Steve Descano, has an excuse for every day that ends in Y, and this is yet another example of where we get nothing but blame shifting when there's finally a time to take responsibility for a failure and learn and do better.
Everyone knew that this was going to happen eventually. That is the quiet rage of people who watched this coming. Jallo walks up to a 41-year-old woman at a bus stop in Alexandria and stabs her to death. The state attorney's office said they couldn't move forward because victims didn't want to cooperate. This is a serial violent offender who was in the country illegally the entire time, and every court in Virginia found a reason to reduce, drop, or minimize his charges until a woman at a bus stop paid for it with her very life. You guys have already seen this. This has gotten very bad nationally. Trump brought it up unprompted at a White House dinner.
They burned this beautiful woman riding in a train. A man was arrested 72 times. 72 times, think of that. And they'll let him out again. The liberal judges will let him out again.
They'll let him out again, past tense, describing the future because the pattern is obviously predictable here. 72 times. Guys, let me put that in perspective. If this man was arrested once a year, that's 72 years of criminal activity. The system touched him, processed him, and released him 72 times before a woman got set on fire on a public transportation system. And Trump's assessment, which sounds extreme until you look at the body of evidence here, is that liberal judges will hand him number 73. Absolutely ridiculous.
We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. In a period of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it would be totally safe. And the people of Chicago want us to go there. And if you look at the crime that's taken place in Chicago in the last 2 weeks, just take a look. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's out of control. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob. He ought to invite us in, say, please make Chicago safe. We're going to lose a great city if we don't do it quickly. Make Chicago. We'll do the same thing as we did in D.C., the same thing as we did everywhere we've gone. It's become almost instantly safe.
We've seen the numbers. D.C. crime dropped 87% under Trump's policies. He's not speculating. He's citing actual results. D.C., 87% drop in carjackings almost instantly when you enforce the law, when you remove a revolving door, when you stop letting judges override law enforcement. This, my friends, is what happens. Crime goes down. Las Vegas proves the same thing. 3 years, 43% reduction in homicides under a sheriff who fights to keep dangerous people off the streets instead of deferring to judges' theory about rehabilitation. We're going to rehabilitate Joshua Sanchez Lopez Gonzalez. No, we're not. Before I wrap up, guys, I want to pull up the comment section of this Las Vegas police sheriff judge clash video because these are obviously priceless. And a lot of times when I see these videos, the comment section is where I go. Las Vegas police judge clashes over 35-time arrestee that was released. Let's check out this comment section. Judge, he agreed not to come to my neighborhood. So when he kills somebody again, the judge needs to be charged as an accessory, 100%. Releasing a felon with 35 arrests is criminal in itself. It's time for the judges to be held accountable when they knowingly allow criminals out to the public, 100%. Put the perp in the judge's home. That's what we got to do. Imagine how many judges would actually release these 35, 75, 45-time arrestees if they went to their house. The judge, and you said, you know what? The judge, you got to be responsible for this. Judges such as that need to be removed, disbarred, and banned from ever practicing law. 100%. Jane Doe says, anybody arrested 35 times should spend time behind bars. The judge is nuts. Agreed. Involuntary manslaughter and 34 other arrests. This guy needs to be under the jail. These corrupt judges need to be held accountable for their actions or lack their actions. It is absolutely ridiculous with these weak liberal judges, guys. America, here's the question that nobody wants to answer directly. When a sheriff says somebody's too dangerous to be released, a judge says release him anyways. Who owns what happens next? Because it won't be the judge. It never is. The judge doesn't get asked at press conferences when Sanchez Lopez's ankle monitor lights up at 2 a.m. near somebody's front door. This is the same dynamic that produced the Virginia bus stop murder, the Florida car show shooting, and a woman set on fire in a Chicago train by a man with 72 prior encounters with the justice system. Every single time, you guys, somebody in a robe decides that the legal process matters more than the bleeding obvious conclusion that this person should not be free. The sheriff of Las Vegas earned that 43% homicide reduction. He built it with 3 years of discipline, accountability, and refusal to apologize for protecting Las Vegas residents. One judge with a bad philosophy can erode it one case at a time. The Nevada Supreme Court has this now. Let's see if they understand what's actually at stake here. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.